Come on, your hot date is here.
She looks like an angel.
You are such a tramp.
But get wise, guys.
It's been a long time since I've been out on the town, and I'm about ready to raise some hell. How about you?
She's the devil in disguise.
I'm Frida.
And I'm Ted.
And I'm Satan.
She's the girlfriend from hell.
Shouldn't we get to know one another first?
To know.
Isn't she a scream?
Well, if you think that's a scream, you gotta see her drive.
Join us if you dare on a date you will never forget.
Oh, don't think this is a free ride. I want something in return.
What?
You're so...
Girlfriend from hell.
I'm really scared. What should we do?
Well, first off, we don't invite Maggie along with us anymore.
Come with us now, if you dare, down a rickety staircase into a dank, dark basement. What awaits? The Saturday Night Freak Show.
Welcome back, friends and neighbors, friends and lovers.
Whoa.
To the Saturday Night Freak Show podcast.
I'm not that close to these people.
I'm your host, Colin, and I'm surrounded by the internet radio superstars, including
Travis,
Brent, Gary.
And you are listening to the Saturday Night Freak Show podcast, where every week we watch a movie chosen by one of us, round robin style, and talked about ad nauseum for your enjoyment and listening pleasure. This week, Travis picked the movie. Travis, what did we watch?
the forgotten classic Girlfriend from Hell.
From the year
1989.
Directed by
some guy. Written by a dude. Starring people.
There you go.
On Glorious VHS.
Glorious VHS. Not available on DVD. I can't imagine why. Because there's a lot of movies that are a lot worse than this available on DVD. We can, you know.
Right, yeah.
We can,
yeah.
you know.
Somehow the license for this one has fallen through the cracks. Somebody owned it, and they're like,
I can't do anything with this.
Yeah, what can we do?
Go ahead, do what you want with it. Yeah.
So this was a direct-to-video release, I'm assuming, in 1989.
I can't be too sure. I'm sure it was direct-to-video, just because that's where the market was.
Right. I hope so.
You know, especially for horror, you know. Because,
well, unless the horror was done by the big studios, most of it did go direct to VHS.
Yeah.
Was this even shot on film? Do we know?
It had to be.
Yeah,
was it?
was shot
yeah.
Like 35 or 16?
35.
I would assume 35. I mean, it didn't look, it didn't look 16.
Just the lighting was horrible. The actual film quality wasn't, well
there's something
VHS,
to be said about, it's still got 1980s, man. I mean, when you're watching this, you're like, man, that really was a different time, or at least the style that they were going for. All the nights are lit by an electric blue.
It's got the blue monster, the blue light monster that attacks most films of the 80s.
I don't know if we can accurately capture this though, because Escape from New York is a blue moonlit movie, right? When you think of like John Carpenter, you think of Halloween, it's like a blue nighttime movie. But this is like fucking neon.
But those are like, I was gonna say, but those are like good filmmakers where. A lot of other, it's
Night of the Demons has this type of lighting to it. It's very colorful.
Night of the Demons? I don't think Night of the Demons is that bad.
What,
no.
Witchboard? I mean, maybe
Witchboard, something like that.
Witchboard, maybe it was, Mausoleum, or, those type of movies.
Those type, definitely. Well, there's just we got the blue light.
Yeah, the further down the chain you get in studios, the brighter the blue light gets.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's just that.
just put a fucking big neon sign out the window.
It's just that thinking that, I don't know. People just, you see this a lot in movies where it's just it's nighttime. Just put a fucking blue light somewhere. It's like, dude, but we're in a house. Who has a light on in their kitchen and still has moonlight shining through, casting moonlight on the fucking walls? It's like, that's not moonlight. Yeah. It's
a stylistic thing that seems to be prevalent in movies of those times. I mean, the thing that was missing from this I didn't notice was the fog atmosphere, the heavy fog atmosphere, indoors. We saw Trick or Treat. What was that, last week or the week before? And that was 2 weeks ago. And that was heavy fog indoors. And I know Mausoleum's another one that's man, this one does have a diffusion filter or something over the lens.
Yeah, I'm sure if we saw better quality of this, maybe we'd see something. But I don't think they spent any money on a fucking even a fog machine or. Yeah. I mean, they.
But did you notice even the streetlights were blue?
Yeah.
Like everything.
Yeah.
Well, the nuns were cast in blue light, all of it.
It was all blue light. If they were outside, it was blue.
Streetlight thing, though, in the 80s, the streetlights were blue. You remember? At some point, they went and replaced them all with those amber lights. But in the 80s, streetlights
they did have that.
But were they like a fluorescent?
Like white. It was like a white. Yeah, it
wasn't like it was more that it would show up green, right? It would
maybe in film. I'm not sure.
I think this was somehow, however they timed the print. I mean, because everything that should be like a white light was definitely blue, and the blues were blue.
because I think it was just blue. I don't even think they. Whoops.
Well, they were going for blue color or something because even in the costumes, everybody's wearing these bright fluorescent, or what would you call it, neon, like pinks and greens and reds and
80s.
Yeah, I guess that's the time, right?
Yeah.
And big fucking hair.
And plenty of spray paint.
Yeah.
This would definitely be the 80s stank, right? If there ever was one.
Yeah, it has a thing, something. I don't know, it's a stylistic kind of, it was weird in the 80s. I remember like all that stuff used to be considered futuristic.
Right.
Because coming out of the 70s where it was all kind of grimy, very real,
and
they went with like this fluorescent, colors everywhere.
And that's always the way, right? A style's always going for a futuristic look, right? You got like the rocket-shaped cars of the fucking 50s and 60s, You're always going for like, oh no, people would wear all silver fucking jumpsuits. And
right,
Oh, it's going to be
even
great.
Miami Vice, I remember, it's like the look that they had, well, I wouldn't say it was futuristic, but it was, cutting edge. It's like, look at it, and now it's like you look at that stuff and it dated itself probably like 2 years after it was made.
Right.
Did it take that long?
The next month.
The shoulder pads? Yeah. Guys with shoulder pads
and
that aren't on a playing field.
But, a little personal backstory. I first saw this movie, 89. In 89, I was 7 years old.
Oh my God. I feel old.
Yeah, right. And I'm not sure if I probably didn't see this in 89. I'm sure I saw this like in 90 or 91 or whatever. But, I don't know. It's just like, this is a quirky movie. I think that's why I've always liked this. And I've always liked that style of like Charles Band where it's like people put in like weird sci-fi aspects to like what would normally be like, I don't even know. This is kind of a possession movie, right? Kind of a, but then they throw in sex comedy. They throw in like a spacey, like devil chaser guy that's got like a dimension portal hopper or whatever. This is kind of very like 1980s. Like we're going
laser gun.
We're going like fucking Bill and Ted Devil Hunter or whatever the hell, right?
Yeah.
So just the concept of, I think, of this, like really just captured it still kind of captures my imagination. I think the character Chaser is, who's that guy from Twin Peaks?
Dana Ashbrook. Yeah, he was in Twin Peaks. He was Bobby on Twin Peaks. And, he was in Waxwork. I remember he was the kid who turned into the werewolf. But it's funny watching this movie because, like, he must have been something, like his agents apparently thought so or whatever. He gets billing ahead of the title at the beginning. It's like Dana Ashbrook in Girlfriend from Hell. And then he's not in like half the movie.
Well, then maybe that thing in the end credits about list of appearances as their agents demanded, maybe that had something to do with it.
But that kind of tells you the tone of the movie that we watched. Maybe you should set it up. Like, what was this movie about? What's the concept?
It's pretty. It's a really simple concept. That's why, like, as bad as this movie can be considered, you still see the same writing tropes today that they tried to do in this. You see everything they try to do. You see the pacing they try to go for, and you still, like I said, to this fucking day, you see the same. Maybe written a little bit better, but you see still the same, like, tired old fucking, a couple, which is played by the girl from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, 976 Evil. Leslie Dean?
Yep.
Leslie Dean. Her and her boyfriend, Animal House guy.
The guy from Animal House that led the charge against the Delta House.
Yeah, the blonde guy.
Gregory.
The blonde guy. Blonde white guy.
Yeah.
So they're gonna hook up their friend Maggie with a blind date for a friend of theirs birthday party. So you're supposed to get the idea that this Maggie girl's like a complete like fucking shut-in nerd, like doesn't know how to do anything right, can't get ready for a date, or you have
Yeah, she's extremely socially awkward, but so is her date. We're introduced to him too at that point.
She's to the point where like she can't put on gloves.
Well, that's and here's the point where it's like this is where they step out of. Like I said, this movie to me has like a very like ooh, you know, like there's an idea. Oh shit, that's a good idea. Oh, whoa. I mean, this is like half a cartoon. Yeah, it's half a cartoon. It's half like really not like reaching any sort of like realistic level at all. I mean, just the type of shit the characters do. It's just like,
it's a split personality. I mean, the whole thing with the nuns, which is hilarious, that whole scene feels like you're in a different movie than you are.
Well, and I thought they were going to do something with the nuns because they're like, well, the evil's really getting bad in the neighborhood. So I thought they were going to show more to that too. But then it just Devil Girl just happened to be driving through when they brought up that point. So,
yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's the couple, the blind. Well, okay, so wait, there's a blind date happening. These couples, this group are going to a birthday party. They're trying to fix their friends up on these awkward friends up on a blind date. But Dana Ashbrook, bounty hunter named Chaser, is pursuing the devil. We find out. This is like it starts off with a Starfield. The movie does. So
Starfield.
So it's an alien and some alien bounty hunter. But no, he's chasing the devil. Devil takes possession of Nerdy Girl.
But chasing the devil through space and time.
Through space and time. Takes possession of Nerdy Girl because she just happens to be in the wrong place at the right time. And she becomes the girlfriend from hell. Just, she gets the big hair.
She gets super sexy. She's very, I mean, this is why I do like this movie. I think that actress is very good. I do. I mean, she's not like, she's not. Oh, no, this is great.
She knew it was up. That she found the right tone, I think.
I mean, she's the only. I mean, you watch this movie. I mean, it's fucking dead until she gets possessed, and then she livens up the movie. I mean, for what it can be.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess you have to, right? I mean, the whole thing is kind of riding. If she's the girl, she's the titular character.
The titular. I don't think that's a word.
It is now.
That's a joke from
a couple podcasts ago.
No. Upright Citizens Brigade, where a guy goes, I had the titular lining out of Africa. He said, boy, I can't wait to get out of Africa. It's like, and he keeps saying he has the titular line. The guy's like, I don't think that's a word. But I think, her from her nerdy self to her devil self. I mean, those are like two distinct characters to me.
I was very worried, to tell you the truth, going into this because she was like, she was unattractive and very nerdy, and like, oh, this is a bad performance and all that. But it was clear that she's probably in real life closer to the devil character. Maybe not like, but I mean, just more outgoing and stuff.
Well, in the beginning, it was definitely dude looks like a lady.
It was
I thought it was a guy at first. I really
so did I.
Yeah.
I'm like,
whoa.
Is that a man? Oh, it's a girl.
Do we know who that is?
Ponytail.
Yeah. I thought I might have read that maybe she was a playmate. I don't want to say that without us knowing.
All right, well, you guys talk about yourself.
Google that.
I will do some Captain Google.
So, she gets possessed by the devil, and automatically Chaser comes in, and and this is where you get the tone to me of just the relationship between the Chaser and the devil, where she just like kicks him in the balls and he like passes out, and she like makes some comment. It turns out later in the movie that, of course, like and I almost think, I really think this is the meat of the movie. I almost wish they would have like shown us either this earlier, but the idea that Chaser was a dude that died and because of his sins went to purgatory or whatever.
Oh, he was also the inventor of the condom.
Yeah, that was also
That's what got him on the radar.
It's got him on the radar. So God says, "Oh yeah, well you got too many sins, but if you become a devil chaser, chase the devil for me, maybe you'll get into heaven." And when he goes down to Earth, which I guess is supposed to be like a 1950s Chicago or some shit like that, I guess you're supposed to get, or not 50s, but like a 40s or
something like
noir.
Some noirness. And so he ends up like sleeping with a girl and then having a relationship. And like it turns out the girl's the devil, and he gets like, I don't even know, like I guess punished by having the chaser, I guess.
But that was after he died, right?
Yeah, that was after he died.
Did they say how he died?
No, he just says he died.
He just died?
Yeah, it didn't say how he died.
That kind of left me a little unclear. Did God send him back just to see if he could prove himself, or he sent him back as a chaser? That part
he was a chaser. Unclear. He just, the devil can take any form. And this, and this is why.
I'm sorry, I just looked up something on IMDb, and this may blow Gary's mind right now.
Breaking news.
Leanne Curtis plays Maggie. Do you know a character named April Hobart on Sons of Anarchy? Because that's her.
No kidding.
You don't know who I'm talking about, though.
No. I'm trying to think.
Gary is sitting here wearing a Sons of Anarchy shirt right now. He's been telling me how. Okay, I'm sorry.
What season?
I thought that would be.
You got a season for him?
Appearances. Oh, maybe. Sorry. Was she on just one episode? Maybe one episode.
Oh,
giving back. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, spoiler alert.
Well, look for
I'm
her.
backing out.
Look for her on Sons of Anarchy.
She was not a Playboy Playmate as far as
okay, yeah. See, I didn't want to
but could have
let
been
that out there. Yeah, I think she's very attractive.
Well,
That's
yeah,
how
in the beginning they had her just, she was just screwed up as a soup sandwich in the beginning. I mean, the flipper gloves, and the eyelash, one crooked, one going up and down. It was, she was.
That's what I'm saying. Anybody that I don't know, anybody that has a character that freaking completely arrogant or ignorant of just how to put a glove on. I mean, and then they just wouldn't fix it. It's just what the fuck type of people are these?
It's got the tone of screwball comedy. I mean, that's kind of what you have to know going into this. There's a lot of jokes. Every scene's pretty much punctuated with a joke of some type. Some of them break the fourth wall and actually reference the audience itself. And, it's very silly. Yeah. Intentionally so, but I think everybody in the movie is aware of that, and they play to that tone.
Who was the religious girl?
Franny or something.
Franny. Yeah, she was over the top, but
she was over the top. She was like a little rascal, fucking I'm so religious.
Well, she reminded me of Daryl Hannah's character from Steel Magnolias, where she played that really religious girl. Yeah, she got really religious towards the end. That's what she reminded me of. In fact, I was like, oh my God.
The same year?
Well, that's
the year before?
It's very strange because you have this group of friends and none of them seem like they should be hanging out together. I mean, all they are their 80s archetypes, right? You have the jock. You have this religious girl. I don't even know if it's 80s.
He's like an asshole boyfriend. I do like him in this movie.
Yeah, but more.
He plays that in everything he's in. I mean, he's Gregory in Animal House, Total Tool, same guy. You're talking about
Rocco. Rocco, the dickhead boyfriend that the birthday party's for.
I was rooting for them to be killed. I hated those two.
Because they're every relationship I actually know. The two people that are they just don't fucking know when to keep shit behind closed doors. They'll just argue in front of their friends and smack each other in the head and shit like that.
That seems pretty good. Where you can see the actors just improvising and it's okay, the camera's still rolling. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna push you. I'm gonna push you back. I'm gonna push you in the face. I'm gonna push you in the face.
Yeah, it just gets crazy.
It keeps going because the camera's rolling and you're supposed to be listening to the characters who are standing behind the couch behind them.
Yeah, and Rocco looks like a knockoff Craig Schiffer.
Oh my God, yeah, he does. Yeah. He's you can't afford Craig Schiffer, get this guy. Yeah. But I like how the character was a dickhead, but he was the only guy, as soon as Maggie got possessed, he was really rooting for everything that was going on. He's really the only positive in the whole thing to me, because he wants his buddy to get laid. He's all right, everybody else is a fucking stick in the mud about, it's they set him up. They didn't want him to fuck on the first night. I mean, that's what's so weird about this movie. It's their moral values. These are the people in the 80s that they don't do coke. They don't fuck. There's not even beer in this fucking movie. I don't think
there's not actually sex even for a movie that's has sex. There's sex scenes that are fully clothed. That's implied.
Yeah, but it's still pretty implied.
That's right. I did take a leak apparently during the one boob scene.
Yeah, there was a boob scene that you missed.
Yeah. So there you go.
That was it wasn't a sex scene add-on.
No, it wasn't a sex scene. Yeah, it wasn't a sex scene.
I'm is this movie PG-13? But then there's a couple F-bombs, so you're okay, no, but I mean, it's not violent, it's not sexy.
This is crude.
Yeah, but it's not I don't know, I didn't even find this to really crude.
Because you don't find sex crude.
Okay.
You're a perv.
Well, it depends.
I will say that they wouldn't have even edited those scenes for USA Up All Night. They could have left those intact, except for the boob shot. They could have left everything else.
That's really, I mean, she grabs that one dude's junk. I mean, there's a lot of he grabs the one, Chaser grabs the Leslie Dean's breath. Yeah. I mean, there's still, it's pretty. Come on, guys. Jesus.
Well, we're not saying it's not happening. It's just not.
I'm just saying,
blatantly obvious. There's not a lot of nudity for it being a sex-based movie.
No, it's not a lot of nudity.
I don't know. Yeah. See, it's not crude to me in the way that it's I don't know. It's this And again, I don't know if it's the 80s or that decade, but it's like, it's very like naive or innocent and playful. You know what I mean?
It's no pork.
But is that what all the ski school is, though? I mean, aren't they all kind of...
Beach girls,
because they always, it's the whole idea of you tease a lot of sexuality to get people to see the fucking movie, and then really it's just like, sex comedy, all right. That's the idea. You're supposed to tease with the, oh my God, this is gonna, because I mean, this is why I like the idea of this movie, the concept, if you will. The idea that you go to a party and there's this one slutty chick that steals all the girls' boyfriends and takes them into a room and fucks the life out of them.
Literally, fucks the life out of them.
I just like that concept.
She steals their souls.
And right from the get-go, when they get to that restaurant, I mean, she automatically picked that one girl and starts fucking
spitting water at her.
And I like how she doesn't pretend that she's not the devil. She'll say shit like, it's been 50 years. I mean, because that's part of the joke, right? Why is Maggie saying weird things, you know?
Yeah.
But I like that idea that the devil isn't fucking, it's like, this is the body I'm in now, whatever. I'm going to have fucking fun with it while it lasts. I don't care who I piss off, she's not trying to keep face with anybody. She's not trying to keep any of these friends as the Maggie character. This is why, that's why this movie to me is different than what most people would make of this type of movie. You know what I mean? I think most people would go for trying to, I don't know, just play with characters.
More of a Jennifer's body kind of.
Or bullshit, yeah, trying to hide it and I like how this is just fucking upfront with I'm the fucking devil. I haven't driven in 50 years. She didn't introduce herself
as that to
hi, I'm the devil. Yeah, everybody laughs like she's funny.
Yeah. Well, and then she starts talking about how she told God or that fan club he started. What do they call that? Christianity?
Yeah, Jesus. I told Jesus, you gotta lighten up,
The meek shall inherit the earth. Yeah, because they'll inherit everything when we're done with it.
We're done with it.
And that's in the restaurant where we made a point to notice that all the furniture was like patio furniture.
Yeah, 45-minute wait for
yes. And you must have reservations where you
Golden Corral buffet
where you can see the short order cook making fried eggs on the grill.
Yeah, my God, that was supposed to be fancy, like they're doing a flambe or whatever.
What was the name of the restaurant?
La Paste, Pasta or
La Pasteria.
Yeah, La Pasteria.
One of those places you find in LA.
Look, Trauma came up with a better name with the Mexican restaurant or whatever they call it in Toxic
It was like the taco shop, the taco store,
Taco House or something. Yeah, that was a better name for a restaurant than that.
Hut or something like that. Taco Hut.
Well, I always love that. There all these movies shot in LA. I've never been there. I'm sorry. So this is probably just like everybody's like, well, it's what it's like. But there's always these shots. Terminator has this kind of look. All these stuff where, cars are driving down the street and you can see for blocks and, the blue little lights, the street lights all the way back. There's not a single other person around anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like an LA thing or something. They're shooting at 2:00 in the morning. I don't know. Is it 7 o'clock?
I'm sure it's like 4 in the morning.
Thursday night.
Right.
There's nobody. The businesses are all shut down. There's no one.
Anyway. You can't imagine they had money to block a room.
Right, yeah.
It feels like it's like some sort of industrial park that they're shooting at,
with a back lot, but it's too big, it feels like, for a back lot.
They did that with Return of the Living Dead a little bit, too, though. Same thing. And we talked about it with 976 Evil, where it looked like the whole town, except for a few times you'd see those car lights. If you were looking sideways down that alley, you could see it on the other side of the chain link at the end. You'd see a car light once in a while.
I'm sure they are all backlots. Then. Yeah. Maybe they are actually doing this stuff on studio. It just seems like this movie doesn't have the resources.
I'm sure they're just waiting, for people to get out of the way or something like that and doing their shot. You know what I mean? I bet they're.
Well, what would be the harm in having cars back there?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think there were any cars. That's what I'm like.
No,
they shot at a time of night or something that
way at the end after she turned back around with the car. And there's one way at the end of the street.
This is the type of movie I'm sure they're happy to shoot it. I don't think they were thinking about the backgrounds or la la la. They're just like, we're making that movie.
Yeah,
that one.
As we were watching it, my wife was like, they're going to great pains to when they're fighting and stuff in this house to not actually damage the house. And we extrapolated it. Maybe that's because this is actually the producer's house, or something.
It's the producer's mother's house. They don't want to
right.
His wife will be pissed.
Well, because Rocco and his girlfriend, neither one of them could have afforded that house.
No, I mean, you can't. Unless he's a coke dealer or something like that. Yeah. They don't get into that.
Well, the first half, and then there's so the first half of the movie is basically this, the devil then in Maggie's body, going through all these
doing
guys.
Weird things that Maggie wouldn't normally do, that they're like, what? What's wrong with her?
But the anomaly to all that is the scene with the nuns.
Yeah, that's a great scene where a nun drops a gun and the Mother Superior is like, Sister Franks. Yeah, Sister Franks. Why do you have a gun? She's like, the violence, we've been mugged and like people beat the shit out of her. No, I like that. Like, beat the holy.
That's enough of that.
Yeah, that was it should have been quicker, but it was still a good one. They beat the holy. Yeah. And, but then when the devil is driving her and her friends on the way to the restaurant, she jumps up on the curbs. I just like when in any movie when they're like penguins or whatever. For some reason, I just puts a smile on my face when you call nuns a penguin. And so she's gonna run him down, and the Mother Superior does like a weird like somersault out of the way. But then it starts shooting the gun, and then there's just like that line of all the other nuns shooting their different guns.
Doesn't she say at some point, or maybe you just said this, that she's like, are any of, you're supposed to use prayer to fight off the devil. Are any of you else, carrying weapons? Give them to me. And then that's when, all of a sudden they're all pulling out.
Hands down, best joke in the movie.
That is pretty funny. Well, one of the...
And a rocket launcher. And there was a
rocket launcher.
They blew up a car.
Yeah. I mean, but that is really funny. These nuns like lining up in a row, and it gets like better as you go down the line. You got the little revolver. You got like another like nice gun. I don't know, automatic.
Shotgun.
Yeah, the little sawed-off shotgun,
which is a distance weapon.
Oh my god, it's so funny. They're just going for damage, spread.
And that law was like the most popular weapon in 80s movies. I think everybody liked that telescopic effect that it did, and then you fire the rocket.
Yeah. But yeah, to have nuns, I mean, out of nowhere, I mean, pure comedy gold. That's why I'm surprised. It surprises me that this movie isn't held more in like the cult status. It's like, it's got some fucking weird shit in it, man. Really weird shit in it.
Yeah, there's something to be said for the stunt team in this movie.
Exactly.
Because right before that, we see a stuntman, physically jump over a moving car, like all the way over it,
land on his feet, and then get up and holler. Fuck.
Fuck you.
Yeah. And then whoever was playing the nun jumps out of the way of that. There's, tumbling out of the second story of a house. And
there's definitely a lot of tumbling, which I'm sure that's what it takes for a stunt double die. You'll be like, I'll jump out of something.
Well, we're giving it like, it's something about, this stunt team has to be like, because we're assuming that like, wow, it's amazing that you can afford a stunt team.
I'm sure they could. I bet the people working on the movie.
That's true. Yeah. That comes into it.
Yeah, it's definitely got one of those. I mean,
it's one of those things where, like, when you see the whole fishbowl thing. So there's a scene where the devil takes this girl, turns her into a fish, basically, right? Like this glowing fish, and drops her into this fishbowl. And then they do a close-up, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids style of, like, basically a pool.
Yeah, the pool they're standing right in front of.
With a circle over it, which is supposed to be the top of the fishbowl.
Right, yeah. And I looked at Travis and I'm like, okay, so they were on set like, hey, we have the pool. Why don't we shoot it, as a giant fishbowl? But then they throw in this giant Cheeto because, like, the devil's eating Cheetos.
Yeah, they'll eat Cheetos.
Yeah. And she throws it in the bowl, and it's this giant, fairly good-looking
Cheeto. They didn't CGI that shit.
They didn't. No.
It's like a big. It looked like a what do you call it? A punching bag. Like it had to be like a light punching bag.
Something that they crafted. But a movie of this caliber, when you see that, it's impressive because you're not expecting them to be able to pull something like that off.
But that is like one of the cheapest. Like, I mean, they've been doing that in fucking black and white movies for the goddamn Corman days. Like the whole let's just play with perspective. I mean, forced whatever. Like, we can make it seem like that was very that's the only thing in the movie I was like, that's kind of like a Freddy Krueger-ish. Like, I bet they kind of went there for that, right? I'm gonna do something to you, turn you into a fish, I guess, or
and the sucked souls, the corpses, they look good.
They look good,
bacon wrapped.
Yeah, the sucked souls look good. They look good.
They were cool looking.
Yeah, you can go to a lot of cheap movies of the day, and they got a lot worse looking corpses than that.
Yeah, no.
That's why I remember looking very...
House of the Dead. Have you ever seen that piece of garbage?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Paper mache zombies. You cannot beat that.
Yeah, dude, you can't. Yeah. And that's what I even like the sequence of when she fucks the first guy and gets his soul. You got
Carl.
You got like the low set fog. You got the that bright light that's going on.
Yeah,
that's some good stuff.
That was the one where I was like, they're doing this to obscure the fact that they can't actually show a sex scene because she's straddling him. he's buried beneath this fog, and she's wearing clothes.
But you're thinking of that as like a old dude that's like your life has been like completely like nothing's, everything's been ruined for you, right? You're not like a little kid that's never seen like a sex scene on a movie or a. Because all these movies were made for kids. Fuck if they're rated R. These are made for 12-year-old, 13-year-old.
Well, because the humor was definitely the people who were renting them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was trying to think, like, watching this. I'm like, okay, so this is basically like it is, I suppose, an independent film. There's no logo at the beginning of it. It's like, Jerry Allen presents.
They were just going for the next Meatballs or whatever the fuck they're going for, right? The next comedy thing.
I'm like, that's where it's like, where was the distribution, for this? Like, it's like now it's like you got guys who go out there and try to make these independent films, but they try to make them about something. They're making artistic statements or something. And then you have stuff like programmers. I call them programmers. Basically, it's like, we've got a slot at 7:00 on October 25th. On the Sci-Fi Channel, and we need something. And it's like, if you can come up with something, we'll do it. And they're like, Sharknado! And it's like, okay, we'll make Sharknado, and boom. Well, it's on the Sci-Fi Channel at 7:00. So this had to be something like a video company or something. I got to find out where the money came from for this.
Yeah.
It's like, was it like, hey, we've got some money, and we can, my buddy owns a video company and we can, make some, I don't know.
Well, but in this day and age, these were the type of kids' horror movies where everything was fucking Teen Wolf, my stepmother's an alien, my demon lover, my best friend's a vampire, girlfriend from hell. I mean, that is the kids' version of the horror movies, I guess, or whatever. I mean.
Yeah, this is just like that third level of that.
Yeah, it's like Once Fucking Bitten or some shit like that, right? I mean,
I think those were probably intended for, older audiences. You just saw them younger and they appealed to you. They were probably, for whatever maximum of, it's
well, I think this
R,
is, I don't think this is going for a young audience. It's just going for a Naked Gun audience. It's going for it's going for a more like loose comedy style. It's just going for, and then you wouldn't, and you just, I don't know, you wouldn't, even though movies like Porky's and shit really did the whole like sex comedy with hardcore, like not hardcore nudity, but lots of nudity. Whereas like 89, I bet that shit was really wrapping up when it comes to like what actresses were willing to do and just to get an actress that could play this Maggie thing. Yeah, I'm sure she doesn't want to short tits because she seems like she might actually be able to deliver lines, Yeah. So she might actually care about her career.
Yeah.
So I think when you go for a comedy, you're not going for hard sex scene. It's comedy. You don't need nudity. It's not. That's not the point of the scene.
If it's a sex comedy, you'd had Hard Bodies, Last American Virgin, Where the Boys Are, 84, Beach Girl. There was a whole lot of those. Like that was the Hot Dog, the movie.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, that's kind of something. Yeah, that's all about, losing your virginity the first time or whatever. And it was like in the air. So those are like early 80s, I guess. So we're saying we got more prudish by like 89?
Oh, yeah. We got more violence in movies, less sex. Except
they
for
cut all the violence
out.
Shit. 88 was the Friday the 13th.
This is comedy, though.
About that they cut all the fucking.
But this is comedy. You can't say I need the sex and the gore of a horror. This is a comedy. It's not going for sex. It's like look at Police Academy. Police Academy's, it's got some sexuality. It's got a lot of sexuality to it.
Innuendo.
But what do you see? Bras? Do you see the blonde chick? Yeah. One time naked? Yeah. I know.
We all prayed for it.
Yeah, I know. Everybody prayed for it.
In the shower?
Yeah, the dude goes to her house or whatever.
Really?
And you saw
I thought we saw her boobs.
Well, and this is what I was just going to say.
And it was very good.
I wonder if a lot of those movies at that time, they were going direct to video. So I wonder if they were thinking more, well, they'll get picked up by your USA Up All Nights and things like that in syndication. And I wonder if a lot of that affected how they were shooting.
But that's kind of my point was, what was the distribution like? We know if we keep it relatively mild, we can end up on USA. Sci-Fi obviously wasn't around back then, the channel. So, but USA Up All Night was. It's like we can make something, that'll eventually end up on, these late night TV shows.
Yeah, because there was
it's kind of
out there. Then.
It still to me felt like it was a milder, you don't have to.
Well, it's definitely mild. There's no question. It's mild. It's not like there's no question to that.
Yeah.
That's
I don't think that's a negative to it because
no. I'm not saying that as
because it's a comedy. It's not going for like, oh, it's going to be boobs and
I'm just trying to figure out who the intended from like the business standpoint,
16-year-old boys.
But what's
how I expected to make my money back as the producer.
16-year-old boys.
It's just through direct video marketing.
I'm sure they would have
shows up on a video.
No one goes, I hope for direct video marketing.
Right?
Who?
They don't make. Well, that's what I'm saying.
They want distribution everywhere, but they'd accept video. You know what I mean? Because it's like you're not going to kick anything out of bed, especially when video is hot as fuck in 89. I mean, video is hot.
Well, what were rental videos selling for? That?
Rental
75,
video,
80 bucks a pop.
Yeah, video was not a small thing. I mean, shit. It was no like. Yeah. It's not like today, you know.
But do you think they shot this? I mean, like clearly the people who were in it. I really can't
tell.
The people who were in it had to have thought that this was going to be theatrical.
Like somehow.
There's only 3 actors or 4 that I remember from anything else.
Well, the nerdy boyfriend that they're hooking up with Maggie, he gets killed in Friday the 13th Part 5 as one of the greaser guys.
He's also Vincent Languilli. They call him Alphabet in Hamburger Hill.
Oh, yeah, crazy.
See, these are theatrical
right?
Cinema.
But everybody's got their shit, right?
Well, that's why.
But you had to do to get to where you are now.
Yeah. Did they sign on to it thinking it was going to go to theaters, and then it was like they can't get it? Maybe it did.
I don't know because I don't.
Maybe this did play the what do you call it? Infamous, like it played in L.A. and New York for a week,
right?
And then went to the midnight movie circuit. It could have went to because that was big back then too. In the 80s was the midnight movie circuit. You know,
I don't even think that's got that big.
Well, I mean, in the bigger cities. I was in Jacksonville at the time.
This thing's going for that full moon Puppet Master audience. I'm sure they were okay with that. But
yeah, because Charles Band was one of the first guys who realized that like we can skip theatrical completely
and not put any money in our movies. It's high content or high concept, low budget.
Well, they did all their marketing in like magazines, so it was like the genre press, the Fangorias, the Gore Zones, the Cinema Fantastique,
or like comic books and shit.
Yeah, they would just advertise on there,
or you would just see it on a fucking shelf. I mean, every full moon movie I've ever seen in my life, boom, it's on the shelf one day. Like, oh, what's this? New full moon?
Yeah. That was kind of the genius of it.
It was genius, dude. They made so many shitty movies.
It was that was the 80s equivalent of the drive-in.
It was the new Grindhouse to me. It's like that's the son of Grindhouse is the fucking straight to video market where it's like, dude, you just made schlock just to get it like Mandroid, half man, half like it's a guy in a wheelchair and he gets to walk. It's like. It's just bullshit that's like, that's a guy in a costume, but you're imagining it's this robot suit that he's controlling with his mind. It's like, I love shit like that. It's just
Android. I thought Rotor. Did we talk about that before?
No, we did not watch about Rotor. I've always wanted to see Rotor.
Yeah.
No way. Have you? Do you have it?
No.
Wow. I've always wanted to see Rotor.
I do have some standards.
It's got a cool cover. I mean, that's what these movies were. They're awesome covers. Like this even has a really nice like
Rotor poster.
Yeah, this has a nice like poster. It has a nice cover. Nice painted. Look at the cover. It almost looks like Problem Child though, like the font. No.
Yeah. It does remind me of it.
It kind of reminds me of Problem Child.
Which actually came after this.
Yeah, maybe it's the same poster designer.
But it's an eye-catching image that would do well
even the
on
font.
A video.
The font is
on a video store shelf.
It's fantastic. Yeah, I mean it has the painting or the drawings that looks like it's taken from an actual photograph, right?
Right? It's just good painting, really.
It's made,
We'll have this up on our Facebook page, so you can check over this the way we are.
As I was saying, like way earlier in the show, so like Chaser finds out that as he was down on Earth hunting for the devil, that he was actually seeing the devil because even though he was on Earth, he couldn't stop whoring and drinking and stuff. And that's another concept I really like. I like it when Angel, like Preacher, the comic book kind of use these type of ideas, not from this, of course, but just the idea that angels, even though they got to heaven, they might not be so different than, you or me with, where they're at. They don't just go to heaven, they become these like completely moral person. They still have the same sort of, conflicts as that we do, the same hang-ups and addictions and shit like that. So I like the idea that while he's hunting for the devil, he ends up sleeping with the devil for a few weeks and like breaking her heart, and so this devil's like pissed off at this guy, and this movie turns into like really almost like a I don't want to say like a revenge girlfriend thing, but just kind of like a dysfunctional relationship, And I can see
adds a different dimension to it, like because they go through. She kills off most of the cast
like
pretty quickly,
which I think that helps this movie move. Yeah. Like there's some parts that are really slow to this movie, but like some of it moves just because. Oh my god, you got nuns shooting guns. You got fucking that guy died right now. Oh my gosh, she seduced that guy already and killed that guy. Jesus Christ, and she starts going through him.
And she touched his winky with a light bulb.
That was so funny, dude. I'm sorry. That is a funny joke. Touching a guy's dick and having a light shine on. That is fucking funny. I'd put that in every movie.
I think that guy might be the best actor in the movie because when he's in that closet, he has some great. Yeah, he doesn't even say anything. He gets it like in a hypnosis, like a sex hypnosis, like a Renfield, like whatever. Like he just wants her. Like I thought that was really brilliant.
The heavy Christian guy. Yeah. Once he actually gets a little taste of the devil, he's hooked.
He's all about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to talk about like just a few things I like how they touch on. Like, I mean, not that these guys are going for like, oh my god, they're so accurate or anything like that. I'm not trying to make it seem like that, but I do like how, he says like Chase says that the devil can go into anything, any sort of living life form, plants, animals. Well, so you never really know what it is. And I like how at the beginning of this, even though they're like on some asteroid, which is what I love, that this starts on an asteroid. With the space thing. And
not explained. Actually, somewhere in Nevada?
No.
I don't know where it is.
It's an asteroid, right?
Well, I know. But
well, I know.
It's the Star Trek set.
The Star Trek set, yeah.
On Earth? Oh, maybe we're on an asteroid.
Lizard warrior coming out.
But I like how there's that snake crawling up his leg, And like a lot of people are just like, this guy's a dumbass letting a snake, whatever. But he's like, you can't get, he knows that the snake is her, and he's like, she's like going for his dick or whatever the hell, trying to seduce him or whatever.
Yeah, he goes, that's a dirty trick.
Yeah, it's a dirty trick. I thought that was really funny when Rocco, the birthday guy, like sees that this girl, Maggie, has like fucked the brains out of like a dude or two. Well, probably just the one guy, and he has the birthday wish. And he makes the wish, and Maggie's like, I heard that. I think that's a cool idea, like the devil just kind of being aware of things. And when they were walking home from the restaurant, and she gave the weak dude, she like kind of, I don't know what, gave him devil powers, made him strong or something, made him confident.
Mastered him, basically.
Yeah. But I like how... Like the dude started saying personal shit to the bad guy about like your daddy's porno magazines that is hidden. It's like that's another cool idea. That's like the devil could attack you personally about shit you have like hidden in your.
He knows what.
He knows everything. He knows in your mind. It's like so that's like what to me adds dimensions to this movie other than just being like it's a throwaway comedy, which it kind of is.
I did like the bit when she was walking down the street and the mother was tending to her baby in the crib, and she touches the crib and the baby leaps out and jumps on the mother's face and tackles her to the ground. Just a throwaway, background gag.
Yeah, and they did that a few times where she'd like touch something or whatever, and like people would start fighting or something. Like they turn into a negative.
Beat the hell out of the boyfriend for whatever reason. I thought at first it was because he was looking at her, but then I realized no, he didn't. She just touched her and made her go off on him.
Yeah, that's a cool idea too. That being around evil could just make you turn into a dickhead all of a sudden. It just changes your mood.
So between what happened there and then with what was going on with Chaser, so what we can surmise is that the devil knows what you did, and God just has them fucking Polaroids.
That was so funny, the Polaroids, man. Yeah, when he's showing Chase like his sins, and like you see from his face. I thought it was a good scene because it's just a narration,
right?
And I like how the guy's like, I said, they aren't too bad. Then he starts whipping out these Polaroids.
He's got like 5 or 6 in his hand at a time.
This is Jesus or God.
Yeah, God.
Yeah.
And I want to say that I thought that was actually like a pretty like decent monologue when he's actually talking about like, I mean, I wish it wasn't so split up throughout the movie. I wish it would have been a little earlier, just something. But when he's actually talking about going down and like, when he talks about meeting the devil in the girl form, I love that piece where he's like, and he did something, it's like, and then she did something that actually pissed me off. She took a drink of my beer. That's great writing, man. I mean, as shitty as the writing could be in this fucking movie, I thought that was great. That's a great little anecdote.
Well, and then it went on to where he was leaving her and he stole the money out of her wallet. But I left her with a kiss and a tip, and he like throws her 20 of her own money back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's pissed at you.
And then it's funny, the me that I thought they did. I thought they lit a period piece better than just a normal living room that's supposed to be modern times. Like the living room looked like shit. This fucking like 1940s bar. It looked like a bar, but it looked at least lit. It looked like someone spent time to be like, let's at least try for this. And they're like, blue in the windows? Yeah, of course. Yeah, blue in the windows. Well, why wouldn't you? It's the 80s.
And like pink neon off in the corner in your period piece.
Something. No pictures on the wall. No personalities.
Spray painted banners.
Spray painted. It's so crazy. They couldn't even afford happy birthday signs.
See, that's what I'm wondering.
Spray painted happy birthday.
So we were watching this on VHS. I wonder if it was that shit that people did in the 80s where you wrote in glue and then put the fucking glitter or whatever and
like
shook it
spray
off.
paint.
It could have been that because, it looked handmade.
Yeah. It looked like the little license plates you used to get spray painted at the mall.
I was going to say, at best, it was like the early days of airbrush.
Yeah.
And that's like some dude just learning. It's like, I can do your happy birthday signs. Really? Oh, it'd save us so much money. What the fuck? God damn it, we're shooting today.
Just put
them up. Fuck.
Maybe.
That's how this whole production feels like it went. But I don't know. That's what I like about this movie. I just like how, I don't know, they had a concept to me. They had, like, this could be a CW show. The chaser guy going after the devil, going into girl. Like,
yeah. Were there ever any sequels or no?
Fuck no.
Really?
Not until mine coming in 2015.
Well,
Demon and My Girlfriend.
Oh, copyright Travis.
Yeah, copyright Travis.
You said that with a straight face. That's the best part.
Well,
there was a prequel. They actually tried to go back and erase this movie.
We can excuse that because Travis recommended that the best way to see this movie was by having a number of drinks ahead of time.
Yeah.
Usually I start drinking at the podcast. But we started with dinner tonight, so we're all pretty lit up.
But the thing
is,
because my cult movies always have a slow 10-15 minutes before the actual ideas start to come into the movie.
I think Travis, you could make this because they leave it open, right? I mean, at the end, they're just chasing each other through space.
They're just chasing. Yeah. You can do Chaser and the Devil.
Just land in somebody else's womb and go to town.
Yeah, that'll be the next one. Actually, yeah, it'll be a pregnant girl and the devil goes in the baby.
Honey, I Possess the Kids.
It's like a Rosemary's Baby.
There you go.
Boom.
But, so, I think where this does lack, like I said, it lacks the same way every other fucking piece of shit movie that still lacks to this day lacks, where Leslie Dean and the guy from Animal House, they know. They're like, holy shit, this girl's possessed by the devil or something. She's killing our friends downstairs, and they run away, which they're great friends.
Yeah.
And they hide under the bed, and then the guy's like, I remember when I had to hide under a bed. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, but you see that in every movie when they're hiding, and people are like, I have a personal story. Since we're hiding here for a few minutes.
I like that bit.
It's horrible.
You remember when we were having sex at your parents' house and your dad found us and he had to go running around the house?
That was, of course, before your friend killed your other friend downstairs.
In your dress.
Yeah.
That was but that's insane to start talking about that when, literally, it wasn't like they were hiding for hours. There was no time lapse. I get it. You're hiding in a closet for 2 hours. Whatever. You might, say something, whatever. She just killed our friend. Hide upstairs under the bed. Hey, this reminds me of, oh shit, she's coming.
It's a comedy.
Yeah.
It's a comedy. That's definitely true. But it's just the idea that, like I said, I knew what they were doing. I see writers to this day do the same fucking thing. And it still sucks. It's just like, these people not know the situations they're in. I get it. It's a comedy. It's blah, blah, blah. But there has to be some sort of character awareness.
Yeah, but some of that, I don't know, it doesn't bother me when it's in, when the whole movie is goofy.
Yeah.
So, it would affect me differently if it was, something that feels more like real life.
Right.
I was watching something today that my wife was watching, and it was like, maybe a TV show. And the way that the characters are talking to each other, it was like, nobody fucking talks like this ever. This is soap opera. They come in and just state, this is my agenda for like everything. It's like, then you get that there's that removal where like, this doesn't feel like reality. And I take points away from this scene where it's badly written. But in this, it's like, if the whole thing is like, pitched at this kind of absurd, perspective versus,
going in.
Then it's like every scene, it's like what they're doing. It's like, okay, this is another humorous bit that they're, it's not supposed to.
But that's the only thing that they think grounds this movie, right? They think that those scenes are what's grounding this movie because they think those are the scenes that you're going to, that everybody has to do to get to know whatever. Where really it's the crazy shit like the nuns that make this movie, right? That's why I think it just plays odd in this movie, and it really feels like, God damn, this is when they're stretching, It's funny, they're not stretching when they have nuns fucking having bazookas, but they're stretching when they have characters trying to relate in dumb situations.
Yeah. Well, we're not here for your character piece. Just,
but that's what I'm saying. That character, that story at that time, you're saying it's so ridiculous. Because why are they doing this? I'm like, because it's intentionally trying to be ridiculous, like the nun.
But I don't think that's just bad writing,
isn't it?
No, that's just bad writing. That's just not because it's like you said, you already have a situation. That's like something that would come up before a situation, or like I said, if you have hours and you're sitting in a situation, then you would. But like just to have a murder happen in front of you, and then you're hiding, and then go right to the scene. It's like there wasn't even like. They went right to the I'm going to talk to you, and he's got a smile on his face. It's the character isn't.
That's in tone with everything else.
It's not because Leslie Dean is reacting to the situation. That dude isn't though. Yeah. She is she
says, "Don't try to make me laugh" or whatever. Yeah.
It's just like that guy to me. He's just like this smiling guy, like, "Oh, your friend," That guy.
It's definitely the tale of two movies in the sense of. Like, they do want to do the whole Naked Gun slapstick idea, but at the same time, like, we watched at least, like, a 5 or 10 minute scene where they were explaining this, unnecessary plot to this movie. Like, you don't need all this shit, and it's just two characters sitting in a room, one telling the other one what's happening in the movie. And obviously, a plot-heavy movie needs that sometimes. Maybe it's more cleverly done than this, but...
An exposition dump's never a really good idea.
Yeah, well, you find a different way to do it. But this movie is just like, there's this weird song on the music on the soundtrack, and he's just like going to town, telling her everything that has to happen.
Oh, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about.
And you don't need that, like, in this movie, this movie is just get to the joke, get to the sex joke,
Yeah.
Like, just take all that out. And I think that's for this movie. This isn't my wrap up.
This movie is all exposition. That's all these writers. These writers don't know how to write a character. They know how to write what the characters are going to go do. Because right from the beginning, they're driving. They're like, we're like, where's the birthday party? You think we can make it with Maggie and the blind date? And it's like, it's not just any date, a blind date. I was just like, fuck. They're just going to tell you what this movie's. They're not trying to have characters talk. They're just telling you it's a blind date.
Well, but this is the crutch of the low budget filmmaker.
It's like it shouldn't be. It should be a writer.
Well,
a writer should make a low budget good, right?
But you're talking about in my experience, just looking at like all the shit that I've seen. Yes, it would be awesome if there was more of that, 10th percentile of the guys who are like really the Tarantinos or the Nick Pizzolattos or, somebody who's a really good writer. And the rest of them, a lot of these guys get jobs and do stuff. But I'm saying like 90% are probably more like the guy who wrote
Well, they're commercial writers. They're probably not writers. They probably don't love writing. They want to make money writing.
It's like I can string English words together and I know the function of drama. And it's like, I've got a budget and a deadline that they want this thing, and I don't even understand it myself, but I'm going to make a movie. The title's Girlfriend from Hell. I'll write it in a week.
Hurry up, we're producing the song.
There's a song already written.
We got it.
And so you go and you put it together.
You see this writing today in like a CSI or police dramas.
Yeah. Well, that's what
they have
soap opera thing. It's all exposition. It's like characters walk in and tell
what
you.
time? Arrived here about 10:35. We found those under the fingernails.
Yeah.
Where are we at on that phone call?
They still keep. Well, that's speaking of those shows. Is every stinking one of them. It drives me crazy. I can't even watch the first 5 minutes because before they go to the intro to the show, you got to get that quirky line, well, she was on the phone, but now the line's dead now. It's just that stupid crap, and I think that's carried over from this.
Take off the glasses, cue the
a lot
music.
of the writers, it's like homework to them. It's just okay.
Yeah, they just have to do it to get their paycheck.
But in this case, too, you've got the situation where they don't have a budget, so they can't actually have a lot of action. So they're trying to pad their running time by just explaining. They've come up with a lot of plot.
Right.
Not necessarily story, but they've come up with plot.
I mean,
and here's... Well, no, actually, this one was more story and less plot, right?
Well, there's a lot of exposition about the chase, devil background.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stop the movie and tell you a story, which at least they do illustrate part of it.
Yeah. Which I thought that stuff is the interesting parts of the movie, really. I think the chase stuff, the chase and the devil, really, to me, is the movie. I just think that shit needs to come in a little...
And see, what I liked was, I would just like to see the devil doing her jokes more.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
she was good.
When she comes to the top of the stairs and she goes, okay, I'm here to kill you now. You should all start being scared. Yeah. And all of her stuff, like at the store, all right, turn around and eat your food before I make you eat your food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
stuff like
fun
that.
Stuff. Yeah.
I mean, the walk from the restaurant, all that stuff is just golden, But it seems like this film, it's because it's trying to have its cake and eat it too, right? It's almost at times taking itself too seriously for the movie that we're in. Like, do you remember you just had a group of nuns shooting a bunch of guns and a rocket launcher 10 minutes ago?
This is one of those movies to me that falls somewhere between Trauma and New Line Cinema. It's they want to do something, but they also have the goofy elements that Trauma does.
Yeah.
But they're a little more apologetic. Trauma's like, no,
right.
Here it is. We blew up a child. Yes, we did it.
Yeah.
Laugh or go away.
Yeah.
These guys.
Be our audience or don't.
Yeah. And that's what I like. I mean, I've always liked, that's why I can't give these movies too hard of a time because, dude, you want to really make the type of movie you want to make, it ain't going to be financed by anybody. You're going to make a shitty independent movie or a comic or whatever if you truly want to do your idea. That's it. So that's why I got to appreciate what they can do with what they have because that's the only way a real artist nowadays is going to do anything.
And some of these too, at that time, one of the financial things was to dump money into movies that they knew weren't going to produce, and it was a tax write-off. That was part of it as well. Big investors would put money in, knowing they were going to lose it to cover where they were making money in other areas.
Right. That could be it. What's his name? Alberto Lenzi.
Yeah.
Is the producer on this. Alberto Lenzi presents. So that was his write-off.
Thank you, Alberto.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well,
I like it. Daniel M. Peterson. Did we see what he did?
That's the director?
Yeah, written and directed by Daniel M. Peterson.
Let's look him up.
We're looking him up.
And it's funny again, listeners, sorry, but if you look at the back of the box, it makes it look like a more hardcore film.
Yeah, because it's got some animated electric shit. I think.
Yeah, there's a lady screaming in the dark.
Yeah, and then you think those corpses look bad?
There's the corpses.
Awesome.
No, I thought they were.
I thought you were looking at us with an ironic really when we were saying the corpses look good.
They look as good as something you can get at a Halloween store now.
No, fuck no. They look better than that. They look like Texas Chainsaw 2 good.
Okay, yeah.
For sure.
Did you just say Texas Chainsaw 2 good?
Yeah. Dude, Tom Savini did a good job on Texas Chainsaw 2.
I thought you meant the movie was good. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's an okay movie. Hey, that movie's all right.
I do like Stretch. Stretch is my girl, but other than that, yeah.
That's a whole nother fucking thing right there.
All right, here we go. All filmography for Daniel Peterson. He's written 14 movies. Let's go with what he directed. Okay. Who Recognizes Angels Falls in Love, 2012. Cupid's Arrow, 2010. Have Love Will Travel, 2007. Back Road Motel, 2001. Girlfriend from Hell, 1989.
We just saw
Vampire Nights, Knight. Wow. 1988 was his first movie.
The movie we saw tonight is the only one I recognize.
Yeah.
But think about it. That's what I think is awesome about having imagine that. Imagine you can have a fucking career as a filmmaker and not have anybody see your movies or know who you are. Isn't that amazing?
It's actually
I'm sure it happens.
He's probably making all of his money off of the Baywatch episode that he wrote.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
And one episode of The Untouchable. No, that didn't make any.
No, that didn't.
Party of Five? He wrote an episode.
Yeah, well.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's all he's got.
Did you say he wrote this?
Yeah, he wrote and directed this.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool.
Well, it's a fun movie. I won't deny that. It's definitely fun, but
quirky.
It's
Well, I suppose that brings us to mailbag.
Mailbag.
Dun, dun, dun. I should have had this pulled up.
This is our mailbag, dog.
You've got mail.
We've got mail on Girlfriend from Hell. If you want to contact us about any of the movies that we watch or have watched, gonna watch, whatever, we'll post what we're going to be, what's coming next on our Facebook
might get a tongue
page.
lashing, but
That's right. You can talk to us and we'll read your comment on air. Dom Cree writes about Girlfriend from Hell. Comedy, horror. Haven't been a fan since randomly stumbling across student bodies early in my teens. Don't get me wrong. There were some pretty funny lines, but I checked out mentally at around 40 minutes. 2 devil kicks to the balls out of 5.
That's crazy. Now, is the devil kicking you in the balls, or are you kicking the devil in the ball? Oh, the devil's kicking you in the balls because that's what
that's what she does.
Yeah. I guess that's fair. I'd say stick it out to the end, buddy.
2 out of 5 is fair.
Well, I mean, like I said, I know what this movie is.
This was your movie pick.
system.
Yeah.
But I understand my own schlock. That's the thing. I don't know. I understand my schlock.
That was Dom
Cree.
Well, Dom, please send in more about the devil kicks to the crotch.
Yeah, because if it's by the pain of watching the movie, wasn't that painful to me?
Sure.
I'll give it 1 out of 2 kicks or 1 out of 5 kicks.
Yeah.
But
I'm confused on where the devil kicks are. Is it like the more devil kicks to the balls is the better, or the less is the better? Because if this is 2 out of 5 devil kicks to the balls, that might be good, guys.
That's the same. That's the
I'm
same
gonna
reason
take that as I'm taking it for a positive.
I don't understand the Rotten Tomatoes rating either, because it's like if it's 100% rotten, then isn't that bad?
No, it's fresh.
They do fresh.
Fresh.
Okay.
It's
You're right.
fresh.
If you're under 40%, then you're right.
Then that's
So
right.
let's say
You gotta be certified for it.
devil kick to the balls is on the negative side.
Yeah.
Devil caressing your balls would be on the positive.
Yeah. I'm going with 3 crotch lights. 3 crotch lights.
I do like student bodies, so give him points for that. That is a good horror comedy.
Well, I thought he said he didn't like it though, right? Is that
He
what
said he didn't like student bodies.
Oh, really? Oh, damn.
Yeah, he doesn't like horror comedies. Well, sorry, Don Cree. We will watch more horror comedies.
Then don't watch Pandemonium with the Smothers Brothers.
The Smothers Brothers.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So, let's wrap it up.
Brent.
Wrap it up. So unlike Dom, I sat through all of this film.
Well, Dom may have sat through all of it.
He said 40%.
Oh, that's right. He checked out.
He said checked out 20
Sorry. All right.
Well, he said he checked out. He might have finished it.
I
He just said he checked out.
The Christian guy in the closet mentally checked out at 40 minutes too, but he was still in there.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dom, please make your emails more clear in the future.
We need to know what double kicks to the balls. Are they good or bad?
But thank you for writing it.
Yeah, thank you.
We do appreciate it.
Okay, so yeah, this film is it's nothing that, I mean, a person of anybody with an adult brain
or IQ over 4
or IQ over 4.
Fuck, I like this.
You're probably going to have issues with it. Now, that said, I did laugh out loud many times in this film, so this is a funny film. And one thing we didn't really talk about, but I do want to talk about, is early on there's not a lot of like outside characters in this film besides the people that are in this house for this birthday party. But early on, you see what's his face's parents.
Oh shit, that's right, James Karen.
How can we not talk?
Because he's in one scene.
He's in one scene. Yeah,
he was obligated somehow to do this movie.
He probably thought he was obligated. That guy's begging for jobs.
Part of a 3-picture deal.
But he's like, I could talk. Woo! That's like an extra $50 or whatever.
Talk about like he's got the writing. He's got the best line in the whole film because he gives his son some advice. He's like, it's reluctant, but he's like, you know what, son? You know what I do. You know what I do on my first date is I go right for their ear. I stick out my tongue
All the way out.
All the way out. Nice. Stick it right in their ear.
As far as it'll go. That's dating advice for Dan.
And now we know why he got the job and not Brent, because he could deliver the line.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Fair enough. But and then later on, you do see his son try that in the film. I can't think of the character's name.
That's the most awkward scene of the whole movie.
Thank you, Carl. That is very awkward, but it's amazing. And again, it early on makes you realize what kind of movie you're in for, right? So with that in hand, I think that you can get through this movie. I would I don't know if we have any, pubescent listeners out there. If you're 13, this is the movie for you.
Yeah.
Check it out. And you
get your first little chubby.
You even get boobs at the end. But if I don't know, if you've missed it to this point, I don't know if you should consider yourself lucky. It's probably not something you should go seek out because you need a VHS player.
Machine.
Dang it.
VHS, thank you, Doc Brown.
VHS machine.
And yeah, you need to find it on VHS, which you could probably do at your local Salvation Army.
I mean, these go for about roughly around $20 still.
Oh, really?
Just because it's out of fucking print, and I mean, it's got a cult following. I've never
anything that says OOP. Double up the price.
I'm still the only person I've heard talk about it. I'm sure there's people out there. Hello, America.
We're going to find out.
Are you out there?
So I suppose, if you've listened this far into the podcast, you're still interested, so go check it out. I recommend trying to hunt it down or contact Travis.
Maybe it's on YouTube. I will check during Gary's wrap up.
Might be.
Yes.
Okay. This was definitely, to me, something I caught on USA Up All Night with Rhonda Shear. To me, that era had a lot of these movies that were geared towards that. Direct VHS releases. Now we call them direct to video or direct to DVD release. I just think a lot of people were cut their teeth with these. Some of them were just people trying to get their names out there. Like I've seen 4 of the actors in other movies. We saw what was the main blonde Nazi dude? He was Gregory in Animal House. I've seen him in that. Of course, the Leslie Dean. We've seen her in 3 other horror movies, 976 Evil and Nightmare on Elm Street. Langwilly, Carl, he was in Hamburger Hill, one of my favorite Vietnam movies. But the rest of the people, I didn't know any of them. But, past this, we didn't see them anymore. I am going to look up the girl in the Sons of Anarchy episode because now I'm intrigued. I got to see where she is. I'm betting Hooker or Crow Eater. I won't explain Crow Eater because this is it's not a family show. No, anyway, but we still won't explain it. But anyhow, it was a fun movie. Again, I think in this setting is the best way to watch these kind of movies. A bunch of guys get together, sit around, laugh and joke and have a little fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. You can enjoy the movie. A lot of fun lines, funny little jokes. We've all agreed that the nuns was one of the best scenes in the movies. For Christ's sake, please pull back the blue lighting. It bleeds through to the credits, for God's sake. Pull it back. But yeah, once you go back, and I don't think it's necessarily an 80s stank as much as it is that VHS market stank. That should have been what it was called because that's when it shifted. There was good horror movies in the 80s. A lot of these just weren't them because they couldn't get the big studios to finance them.
Well, plus, who knows? Was there a fucking lighting guy on this? What if they,
if there was, he should have been fired.
Dude's mom,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
guy's mom was
well, because they're in, the producer's house, they don't want to break anything. And I think it was Colin that said, don't pull the lights back too far. You're going to piss off the neighbors. Yeah. Because they're shooting it at, 2 a.m. in LA. So, it's one of those things. It's a fun movie, but again, watch it with your buddies. Throw together some popcorn, get some beers. Travis's recommendation is definitely a good one. A couple of drinks in you wouldn't hurt before you started watching it. But again, and the thing too is what we had talked about with the market that they're looking for is those 13, 14-year-old boys. Now, Travis, you were what? How
I was fucking 7 when this came out.
Yeah,
so I had just come back.
I had just come back from my first tour. God damn. But anyway, so. Guys like me, we would watch them and sit around and laugh about them in the berthing compartment on the ship, but we didn't take them too serious. They were just fun, right? And I think if you go in with that mentality, you can have fun with it. Again, it's 80s horror-ish. So because it's more comedy than horror.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of horror to it. Even what's supposed to be horrific, I could just be a desensitized maniac, but it's just not that horrific to me.
Yeah.
It's more fun than horror. So, student bodies, again, that's a little more goofy than this, but still a lot of fun. So I would look it up again, get your VHS machine if you can find one. Walmart may still have the duals.
VHS recorder?
Yeah, whatever. Even if you got to string it up to a light bulb and guess what they're saying, take a shot,
Toshiba?
Give it a try. But have fun with it and but do it in a group. Don't watch it out.
Always do it in a group, baby.
You're going to find this great movie that you've missed your whole life because this ain't it, but it's still fun.
Well, I like the way that the two recommendations so far have been the qualified. Like, it's like if you are under these specific exact circumstances,
we have
then we will recommend it for you. And, I'm sitting here the whole time. I'm like, it's coming down to me. And I'm like, what am I going to say about this? Because it's not a good movie. But it has... if you were to look at it critically, it's very tough to do, I think, but it does have I think the actors are good. Like the actors do deliver, pretty good performances. Leslie Dean is she's got a bad agent or something. I mean, she's been in 3 things that 2 of them I've just been exposed to recently. Freddy's Dead I knew from a while ago.
She in Nightmare 3 or Freddy's Dead?
Freddy's Dead.
Oh.
And she didn't really terribly impress me very much in that, but she was more impressive in 976 Evil in this. I mean, now that I've seen a range of stuff that she's done, and it's what happened to her? I don't know. She's went off the map and she's off doing something, still in the film business, but not very much. And Dana Ashbrook, I think, he had some kind of star quality or something back then, riding off of the success of Twin Peaks, but he's not bad in it. I wouldn't say anybody's really bad. I mean, if they're bad, if it comes off as bad, it's because they're intentionally trying to, hit the specific tone. So it's I didn't have a bad time watching it. I thought that, it was going to be worse than it was. So it's it's not bad. Would I recommend it to you? I think it has to be a qualified recommendation based on, where we're going with this. It's if you're under the right circumstances, because
do you like the movie or not? Let's just.
Now you put him on the spot.
Did I like the movie or not? I guess in this case, because I'm trying to think back. I mean, 976 Evil was the last movie that Travis recommended, I think. Last one?
No, Toxie.
Oh, Toxie. Well, that one too. Okay, that one. Yeah. It was I actively disliked, I think, Toxie when I was watching it. This one I didn't actively dislike. It was it's all right. It's not a good movie, but it's all right. I mean, I'm having a good time watching it. More of the jokes, I think, were successful than weren't. So, I mean, is that a recommendation? I guess it's kind of an offhand. Let's go ahead. Let's recommend Girlfriend from Hell on YouTube.
We got one.
If you are
is it
drunk,
on YouTube?
It is. Full movie on YouTube. So if you're drunk, stoned, and you know that you like this type of, you've listened to us talk. If this is for you, then go check it out.
I fucking love this movie, despite how horrible it is. I mean, I'm one of those guys, I don't make excuses for a horrible movie I like. I'm not yeah, but it's got no, I got it. I know the bad parts of this movie. I just think the concept to me, it gives me, it's so fun to me. Just the idea of this, regardless of the actual story, it's just the visuals is this fucking space hunter guy chasing a demon into a nerdy girl. I've seen a lot worse movies take place in one house as a location, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's some movies that take place in one house and it's just it doesn't fucking feel like they're in a house. Where are Trick or Treat, right? You saw the kid's room and a front door or something like that. It's his house was an empty universe to it's just his bedroom, right?
There was a living room with a stereo.
Was there?
I think there was mom's room
that was
where she did the
kid's friend.
Kitchen laundry.
That was the kid's friend. That wasn't his house though.
Yeah,
that was the kid's friend.
House.
Which
I just think we saw
the living room. He fucking handed out the fucking candy. Kids came to the door. Jesus Christ!
And that's
did nobody see this movie but me?
Okay. Not the Criterion edition. We don't have the Criterion. You haven't read the script. I have the novelization.
Yeah, the Rambo guy comes in. Mom's in her room. Whatever.
The point is, I've seen a lot worse movies take place in
upstairs hallway.
Upstairs hall.
Bathroom. Because they're in the shower with the radio.
Don't forget the laundry room.
We barely saw the house. Anyway, there's worse movies that get you discombobulated and where you're at or how long somebody can hide somewhere. Or like, I mean, yeah, in this movie, I'm like, they're just in a bedroom. How is she not getting there? I mean, so yeah, there's a little... But other than that, I mean, like I said, you just don't fucking think about it because it's all just about a hot chick who's the devil going around making sexy comments and seducing boyfriends and like, oh man, it's like everything. I mean, it's like if they made this a fucking titty comic, I mean, everybody would buy it. I mean, this is like a Vampirella or something like that. Not really, but
oh yeah,
just the idea that it's a sexy big bosom. Like evil chick that is going to seduce you. She doesn't just want to kill you. She's going to make sure she fucks you. You're going to get fucked before you die. And that's like how. I mean,
wouldn't the R-rated it is
R-rated? No,
wouldn't the more R-rated version of this be like
not
what
at all,
you actually wanted to see?
No, because that's not filmmaking. When you actually film people fucking, that's not filmmaking. See, these people are pretending. That's actually just shooting people like. Yeah, but it doesn't need to be that hardcore.
Yeah, but back then, just saying blowjob could have got you the R.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it needs to be that hardcore, and it just wouldn't touch the tone of it. If they made it too sexy, that wouldn't, then it would be a porno, and then it would just be you just like soft core. That's your thing, yeah. Colin, Colin just thinks that he's got a normal sexual whatever. But
you ever see a movie called The Unholy?
No.
Oh yeah, where the priest, the priest and the succubus. Yeah, yes, absolutely. That's a great one.
But that's not a comedy.
That's not a comedy.
Yeah, that's a movie.
I'll come up with one. Go ahead.
That's a comedy.
Yeah, I'll
that's I don't think it needs that over splash.
Well, you were talking about earlier. You mentioned My Demon Lover.
He didn't fuck the mermaid though. He didn't fuck her.
Didn't he fuck the mermaid? Like later on, when she was
yeah, she wasn't like big titted fucking mermaid. Like
I want to point out that Colin did leave the film for a moment, like the worst moment to leave because there were boobs.
The one boob. So he's he's got this jaded concept of no boobs in this movie. Boobs in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, you were talking about earlier. You mentioned My Demon Lover. That was another one that had that sexual innuendo, but not really. And again, it would show things that
was PG-13. That's fine.
Are you sure?
True. Yeah.
What about Once Bitten? Is that R?
That's PG-13.
Is it? Well, this is R for language, not for fucking sex.
I know.
You're just a pervert. You just have to I can't have sexuality without seeing some skin. I can't jack off to this. It's too fucking pure.
What was the line for the thing? I find this video hard to masturbate.
Yeah.
What was that from? Was that from this?
No, there was something on YouTube. He goes, the guy's writing in because he's like, I'm sorry, but I find this video hard to masturbate to.
Demerit.
So, I mean, I just like this movie. It's a good, and it reminds me of the time like when there was Roseanne Barr and She Devil. You had Serial Mom. It's like this was kind of a strong woman period of like these horror comedy type things, right? Like where the women were getting back at the men and they're taking charge of their sexuality and all that jazz. Not that I'm saying that this movie is like supposed to represent that or anything.
Because
like that.
It's all from a male point of view.
Yeah, it's all from male. Well, but those were the movies coming out, right?
It's the threat of female sexuality.
Yeah, well, Fatal Attraction. I mean, it's like this was the 89 to like 90 fucking 4 was like the killer woman like age, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, even like I said, Witches of Eastwick, the three women fought back against the devil.
Yeah.
You know?
And just, I don't know, like I said, I like how lighthearted it is. It's very, like, I don't want to say pulpy, because I don't want to get that across, but just the idea of the guy going to heaven, having to become a devil hunter, that's pulpy to me. It feels very, like I said, concept better than execution, but sometimes I think that's what you fucking need. When you're going to see a movie like called Hell Comes to Frogtown or whatever like that, it's like, dude, you know what you're in for. It's just like... It
is called Girlfriend from Hell.
From Hell.
It's a joke title right there. So.
Yeah, and
she's literally from hell.
So
not
it's
just a bitch.
I mean, of course but that's what I like about it. In this. It's like, dude, hell feels like a different dimension. It feels like it could be a different spacey dimension. It's not this like, it's not like such a, like a Judeo-Christian idea of God and the devil, They could be zipping around and
Star Trek, Doctor Who, man.
I thought of another angel movie that starts with a Starfield.
What?
And the angels talking.
Huh.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, shit.
Huh?
I don't watch It's a Wonderful Life.
Goddamn classic.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
Holy
shocking.
You heard me.
All right, cool.
Right here, now. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That movie.
You got it. No, I'm not going to watch it. Yeah.
You've never watched it?
Never.
Did you say you're not going to watch it?
Never. I don't want to watch it.
Well,
Dude.
I know how it fucking ends, right? It's like, it's one of those movies where it's just like, I get it.
It's getting there.
It's journey is the getting there.
Yeah, it's the getting there. It's a
most
story
people don't even like
told.
Christmas. What are you talking about?
I was going to say, I'm not a big Christmas. I've seen it because I got
Christmas,
drugged into it. But,
yeah. Drugged into it.
Movie.
You wake up and it started like, no.
You got the eyelids. My favorite Christmas movie is still A Christmas Story. That's my favorite.
But well, I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. Christmas movies. So we're talking about. I like Scrooge. So yeah, we're coming up on that. We're almost to Christmas time. Pick your Christmas movies now. Yeah. So of course I recommend this fucking movie. I mean, it's fun. If you take it too seriously, you're not gonna have a good time, and that's just on you, man. That is on you if you don't have a good time watching this movie. You know, you add part of the fun to it. If you don't have the imagination to watch this and like just whatever, come away with it like with a better movie in your mind than what is actually on this tape, then hey, you're at fault,
listeners, man. Travis is telling you are the problem.
Yeah,
not us.
Sometimes movies are like that. Well, my buddy, I mean, you're a comic book fan. Sometimes what your imagination is what you're actually putting into some of these stories. You know, just like any movie from the 60s, like Night of the Living Dead or anything. You know, your imagination is and that's a good. I mean, if anything, you would call that a good horror movie, right? If your imagination is adding a lot more to it than there is, you know.
But is that
sometimes that's filmmaking?
Because like a lot of times you'll get on Sean and I about films that were like theorizing on what's
but you guys are coming with character like, oh, but she didn't have a home. It's like, where the fuck are you coming on with she didn't have a home like that?
In those cases, I always feel that the filmmaker intended you to fill in the blanks. Or in this, it's like the filmmakers put everything, like they went out of their way to explain every fucking thing in the movie. And exposition, there's no room for imagination in this. The imagination's on the screen. In the films that Brent's talking about.
But that's why that could be made up, though. That's why I'm saying that idea of like what this character's doing, that could be made up where hey, he's a fucking devil chaser from Purgatory. It's like, it's there. I don't need to make up anything about this movie. It's there. How serious you take that or where you will go with that, and that's, like I said, that's up to you or whatever, but it's there. No, you don't got to make up anything to make this movie like a story.
But you're saying that your imagination is filling in certain gaps, right?
No, I'm not saying fill in certain gaps. It's just if you can have fun with your imagination, you can have fun with this movie.
So you can make it a better movie by... It's
just if you have an imagination. Like I said, it's just like, okay, I mean, the reason I can't believe we're getting into this conversation right now. End of my fucking wrap up. It's just like, It's just like, I don't know, it's just like fucking anything. Your imagination. Like your imagination.
Like with the religious boyfriend. We never really knew what happened to him. We just assumed.
Yeah.
You know, so that's part of it, I guess.
So by imagining that he went off and did something somewhere, it makes the movie better.
No, goddammit, you guys are crazy. I'm just saying that
I'm missing what your point
this
is.
Story is imaginative. Regardless of the production value, it's got story in there that, you know, if you've got an imagination and you can, it's the same way
as a filmmaker.
As a fucking viewer. If you're watching Twilight Zone, right, and the guy wears a fucking goddamn basket on his helmet, he's like, I'm from space. You as a viewer know, oh, that guy's from space. Regardless of if it's 50 years later and what it looks like to you or blah, 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 you know, this guy's from space, you you know, that's your imagination working for you. And it's not creating... Well, because,
No, I mean, just like the guy wears a helmet on his head, so he's from space.
Okay, so that's what I'm fucking saying. That's why I'm saying it's not the same thing as watching a piece of shit like Buffalo 66 and creating character-driven fucking... No, but just because that's creating shit that's not there. That's creating this whole lifestyle that the director does not fucking even... give you an ounce of nothing. No, it doesn't. It's not there. We have a difference
of opinion on that. Because I think it is all.
No, but you're admitting that you're creating something that's not there at all. You can't fucking watch that movie and tell me anything that is actually there about it. You can't look at the script and tell me anything you guys are saying about that fucking character is there. That's made up in your minds.
Yeah, but
that's not what I'm saying about this.
You're invited to participate, I think.
How do you know that? You're just a viewer sitting in a living room. How do you know the director's inviting you to fucking do anything? He could be a dumb piece of shit and you're giving him all this credit. That's why I don't, that's why I was saying at least with this, call it a piece of shit because it doesn't like have the best photography or the best whatever, but it's got imagination just in the writing alone, just in the concept alone.
But nobody called it a piece of shit. I mean, we gave it 4.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, but since I got grilled on my use of imagination, Jesus fucking Christ.
Clarification.
What is imagination? So, that's my fucking wrap up. End of show.
All right, it's Girlfriend from Hell. And next week on the Girlfriend from Hell, on the Saturday Night Freak Show, it's Gary's pick. Welcome aboard, Gary.
Thank you.
As a permanent member of the Freak Show. And your first movie is going to be
Session 9, the psychological horror thriller from 2001, starring David Caruso, and I use the word starring loosely, but it's a good movie.
Dun, dun. Oh, well, man, they just ruined it. Now there's no suspense of what you wrap up.
It's going to be a shit movie.
I suppose he's picking it, so.
Yeah,
it's not going to be good, folks.
Yeah.
Tune in next week.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
That's a good movie.
There you go. So go check it out. If you have any questions about it, get a hold of us on Facebook.com/Saturday Night Freak Show. And, hey, man, if you got some extra time, go back and listen to our past episodes. They're all archived on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Podbay FM, Castroller, and more. So until then, the party's over. Good night.